Hi Yogi, welcome to class. My name is Becca, and for those of you who take my in-person classes, you might know that I am now teaching at The Spot, which is a climbing gym in the Denver area of Colorado. And I'm teaching a YIN class, and it just caused me to reflect on my journey as a yoga teacher and as a practitioner. You know, when I started out, I was teaching hot power flow 3 times a week. Flow 2, flow 3, like more advanced inversion-based classes. And then over the years, there was this slow descent into first more hatha and then YIN, and now yin and more restorative classes. And I think that it kind of reflects wisdom as a practitioner when you realize that you don't have to go to the full extent of the posture. And in fact, not doing that can be the most powerful way to take the pose sometimes. So it takes a lot of strength and a lot of discipline, actually, to get to the point where you realize that you don't have to try. You can do less. So maybe that resonates with you. Maybe that's the kind of practitioner that you are. And if that's the case, I'm really glad that you found your way to this yin practice so that we can continue this journey together into slowing down and restoring once in a while. So for yin classes, I love to have as many props as possible. I have 2 blocks and a strap. I think a strap would be a good idea, maybe a pillow if you have one, blocks. And then I will meet you on your mat for our opening meditation. So finding a position that's comfortable for you, whether that's on your back or sitting upright like I am. And then you can rest your palms in your lap or on the back of your knees, and we'll take the pointer fingers and the thumb to touch in a symbol of the union of the individual and collective consciousness. That's really the goal here as we practice yoga. Find a few moments to settle into your intention for class. Aligning yourself with that purpose, that drive that brought you to the mat today. And with every exhale, letting everything else fall away. And now with the next exhale breath, can we let our intention fall away too? So we fully arrive in the present. When you're ready, open your eyes. And we will begin class with frog. So I recommend sitting sideways on your mat for this one. We're going to begin in a closed knee, like a Virasana, hero's pose. And then from here, we'll take the hands out in front of us and begin to walk the knees wide, keeping the toes together. So the goal is to come down onto the inner leg. And you might be able to stay right here, feels okay in your hips. We're looking for a deep abduction of the femurs. So spreading the legs nice and wide and getting into the groin muscles. For some of us, we're not going to feel this, so we'll need to add the lower leg and taking each sets of toes, so both sets of toes, to opposite ends of your mat. And then again, stopping when you feel the sensation of your groin lighting up. Obviously, we are putting the back into extension here, so think cow pose. And if you want to continue that extension, you can think about cow pose with your head and with your shoulder blades, and letting the belly drop down towards the earth, letting the sitting bones splay apart. If there's pain in your knee here, you can pad the knees from underneath. You can flex your toes a little more, and that's going to bring your tibia into alignment in your knee joint so it's not twisting. Or you can back out of the posture, bringing the heels closer together and allowing the big toes eventually to touch. I'm really enjoying this back bend. If you would like to come out of the back bend slightly and focus more on your hips, we can come down onto the forearms. And then from here, you might rock the hips backwards a little bit, forwards, feeling where you need this stretch. If you're very flexible, you might be able to walk your hands forward and coming down onto the sternum or the forehead. So we're going to settle in here. If this is your first yin class, you will realize quickly that it is not like other yoga classes. We hold the postures from anywhere from 2 to 7 minutes. And then that way it becomes much more meditative. The work is not so much physical, it's more mental. Can you stay? Can you be here? Can you smooth out your inhales and exhales? So it's one continuous line of breath. You can imagine a ribbon of air. You may find as we come into minute 3 that little bits of your body are opening up to you. Your knees may be sliding gradually farther apart. Some of the gripping around your groin might release, sometimes quite suddenly. And if that's the case for you, that's your body opening up. And so as a consequence, your edge is going to creep farther from you. Your edge meaning the point where you feel the most sensation without creating harm. And so as we get into as we hold the pose for longer, we might need to actually come deeper into the posture to find the edge again. Two more deep breaths. Try not to rush them. And we'll gradually, very gradually, come out of the pose. So if you're on forearms, will come to hands. And then let's slide the heels together and then come onto the top of the feet, allowing the big toes to touch. And then we'll walk the hands forward, taking some of the crease out of our hips. And then tucking the toes under, you can begin to draw the knees together. Align yourself back with the front and back side of your mat. And come down onto your belly. Take one ear down. And then the other. Our next posture is Sphinx. Just like the Sphinx that you know. The forearms are parallel, the palms of the hands are down and the fingers spread wide. And it's your choice here how deep you want to make this back bend. So deeper back bending would be pulling the elbows in towards you. And taking the back bend out, we would walk the elbows away. So for some of us, especially those of us who work at a desk or who spend a lot of time in the car, there's naturally a rounding that will occur. Well, not naturally, but a rounding will occur in the upper back. And so you may not need much of a back bend here to feel the sensation of stretch across the chest and the extension in your spine. And then wherever you are, can you take a breath in there, holding at the top. And then as you exhale, really settle into the pose. You can keep the head upright. You might drop the chin to the chest. You can even drop one ear to the shoulder and then the other. Whatever feels best. Release any gripping around the lower back. Can you relax across the fronts of the shoulders? Next inhale, we will begin to lift the head if the chin was down. And then without moving anything else, we'll pop up into seal. So extending the elbows and lifting them off of the mat. Now from here you can adjust either the width of your hands. You might walk the hands in, and again, this is going to deepen the back bend. Or you might walk the hands forward. I like to turn my fingers pointing slightly out so that my middle finger points forward. It's just more comfortable for my shoulders to keep them in external rotation. It allows me to really open across my collarbones. Releasing any tension in the lower back. We'll take another breath in here. Really extend the spine long. You might lift the chin, draw your shoulders back. And then exhale, lower the elbows down. Back to Sphinx. 1 minute. Feeling the body breathing. Inhale, grow tall through the crown of your head. Press down through the center of your palms. And exhale, lower everything down onto the mat. Hands will come under the shoulders. Take the forehead down. I'm going to come up into tabletop position and then sitting down. I love teaching on YouTube because I get to do the class as I teach. So our next posture will be half shoelace. We're going to use our strap for this. We're going to start with the right leg on top of the left. So we'll pick up the right leg and then step the heel up and over the left leg and bring it into your outer hip. And then come down onto the outside edge of the right foot, allowing the outside edge of the right knee to stack on top of your left leg, like so. So this is half Gomukhasana from Iyengar, if this looks familiar to you. And we're going to add Gomukhasana arms here to continue our journey of opening the back and shoulders. So the right arm is going to go behind your back for this one. Oh, I can already tell this is going to be pretty deep for me. So we're going to walk the right arm up the back, palm facing out. And then the left hand will hold the strap. We'll extend the arm and then bend the elbow, allowing the strap to dangle down the back towards the right hand. The right hand can then grab the strap wherever. The hands don't have to meet. And then we'll inhale, growing tall through the spine. And then exhale, let's fold. We're only going to be here for about a minute. Settling down into the posture. Letting the head hang. No need to keep any tension in the bottom leg. Just let everything relax and let gravity do some of this work. Good. Next inhale, we'll tuck the chin and slowly rise back up. And then exhale, we'll stay here for another minute. Now I want you to take a look at me for a moment. So when we have the hands behind our back like this, it's obviously a very intense stretch across the shoulders. And so our body tries to compensate for such intensity by helping. So we begin to find this banana back shape. So I want you to do your best to avoid that. We'll ground down through the sitting bones, allowing the tailbone almost to tuck under, and then drawing the rib cage down. So this is going to bring the stretch into more of isolation in the bottom shoulder, or the left shoulder. And it's going to save our backs, so our backs don't have to do any straining, any gripping here. Good. We will slowly release. First, the bottom hand will release the strap. And then the top arm will release. And I just realized that I did my arms backwards, so I will commence doing it the right way. So we'll find eagle arms next, keeping the legs as they are. The left arm will sweep underneath the right, and we'll wrap up the forearms as best as we can, bringing the palms towards one another. Then we'll inhale, feeling the forearms draw away from you. And exhale, can you stay there? So this feels pretty good for me. I'm probably going to stay here. But you can find another position with the arms in Gomukhasana, or in eagle arms. Either drawing the elbows down towards your belly button, maybe pulling the whole system of your arms up towards the sky more. You might take an ear down to the shoulder. You might even play with twisting side to side. And some of you may want to fold all the way down. One more cycle of breath. And we'll come up. Uncrossing the arms, spreading them wide, and then taking the hands behind your back, uncrossing the legs, and coming into windshield wipers. So swaying the knees side to side. And switch. So this time the right leg will be underneath the left. Left leg reaches up and over. And so the left arm will go up the back. The strap we will grab in the right hand. And we will dangle the strap down the back by bending the top elbow and allow the bottom hand to grip the strap. From here, we'll inhale, and then exhale, we'll fold. So if your top leg is pressing into your bottom kneecap, that can be uncomfortable. You can either pull the top leg higher up so it rests on the meat of the thigh, or below the knee so it rests on the bony shin. So we'll be in this folded variation for a minute, and then we'll rise up for another moment. And by moment, I mean minute. Take another cycle of breath here. And as you exhale, really settle into the pose. And then inhale, tuck your chin if it's not already, and rise up to upright. Adjust your hands along the strap if you'd like, and we'll be here for another inhale, getting tall. And exhale, grounding the sitting bones down into the mat. So removing any of the banana backing if it's occurring for you. Most likely it is in some way. And so when we sit upright like this, we're using our core to support a straight spine, which is pretty difficult for me. I don't know how you all are feeling. And so my work is going to be to see where I can relax. What am I gripping that doesn't need to be gripped? Good. Let's release slowly. Bottom arm will release the strap, slowly bring it down beside you. And then top arm will extend and discarding the strap or just moving it to the side. We'll find Gomukhasana next. Gomukhasana arms. So the left leg is on top. We'll have the left arm on top of the right. Nestle up your elbows, wrap your forearms, and bring the palms to touch if you can. If this isn't accessible for you, you can also grab opposite shoulders. And then any position with your arms, upper body is fine, whether it's here, maybe extended, maybe rounded, maybe you fold forward. And then finding yourself back into your meditation. Here with the body breathing. In this intimate dialogue with the body. We spend so much of our lives in our heads. Our body is constantly doing so much, and we rarely acknowledge that. We're rarely ever aware, we just take it for granted. So sometimes I think of my yin yoga practice as a love letter to my body. Thank you, and let this restore you. Let this nourish you for all your hard work. We'll take one more slow inhale. And a long, slow exhale. We'll tuck the chin, draw the elbows in, and slowly roll up to sit. Uncross the arms, open them wide like wings, and then flutter the fingers behind your back. Let's take some windshield wipers. All right, it is time to lie down for our final two postures before Shavasana, and that's going to be supine twisting. So we will begin with the knees into the chest. Think Apanasana, wind removing pose. And then we're going to drop the knees over to the right hand side from here. Then there are options that you can take from there. So let's bump the hips over to the left just to create some room. for the knees to fall right. And then to deepen this posture, you'll take this top leg and cross it cross the thigh over the bottom thigh. So this is going to add some counterweight and bring the low body into a deeper twist. If it already feels like the low body is unstable and you actually don't need as much twist, we'll take a block and place it under the bottom leg so that the knee rests on it. And then you can take your right hand to the left knee and you might reach that left arm up towards the sky, thumb points down, get really long through your spine, and then take your fingernails down and make a half snow angel along the mat, staying really long and extended through your left arm until the left arm comes out to about 90 degrees beside you. And then we'll inhale and exhale, settle. Allow the left shoulder blade to fall down towards the earth. You might even cactus this bottom arm. That's going to deepen the stretch across the front of the shoulder. The knees do not have to stack here, contrary to a more yang-based class where we really don't want any movement in the joints except for we want to minimize movement in the joints, I'll just say. But here it's okay if your knees slide apart. And what this is going to do is let your pelvis come into more of a extended shape. It's more asymmetrical, which is okay. Just let the low back do what it wants to do. Let it untwist, let it relax. Breath in. Fill up the whole rib cage. Hold at the top. Take another sip of air in through your mouth. Hold at the top. And release. Allow your knees to come back to center. Drawing them in towards your chest. Give yourself a moment here. And we'll move into the other side. So grab your block if you were using it. We'll bump the hips over to the right. Draw the knees into the chest. And then drop them over to the left. Extending the right arm up to the sky. We'll take the thumb down to start reaching along the right side body. And then bring the fingernails of the right hand down towards the floor. And exhale, make a big half snow angel along the floor to the right of you. You can let your gaze follow your hand. And then you might bend the bottom arm or the right arm. Notice how much slower your mind is moving from when you first stepped on the mat. Our bodies and our minds are so intimately connected. Sometimes all it takes is slowing the body down to slow the mind. Relaxing the body, relaxing the mind. Breathe in, fill your rib cage with air. And at the top, take another sip in through your mouth and hold. Release. Inhale, knees to chest. Let's pull the knees into the chest really tight. And we'll lift the head and bring the nose in between the knees. Squeeze your thighs to your belly. Pucker up your face, contracting all the muscles in your face. Tense your arms, squeeze your toes, squeeze your hands. Inhale. Hold and squeeze. And release. Shavasana. Friends, I will leave you here to linger in Shavasana for as long as you are called for. When you decide to end your practice, please do so slowly, taking your time to reflect on any lessons that arose from you during the class. Thank you so much for being here in community, in ceremony with me. I wish you love and light on your journey. Thank you.